Yeah, I said it ain't no running. I'm really dropping the pain. The famous back in the game. You better walk away. No running. I really do what I do. I'm breaking just like the news.
Chat. We're watching another YouTube video, man. Reacting to another YouTube video. We are reacting to the best NXT wrestler of every year. I feel like y'all know I love NXT, so I always like to talk NXT. So let's get into it, man.
Ever since its inception in 2010, NXT has been all about one mission, and that's build the future
The
of
ruler,
WWE.
the Toya.
As you would expect then, this has meant a lot of promising talent have passed through the brand over the years. So much so, in fact, that for every year of its existence, there has been at least one standout performer. But just who was the best wrestler of every single year? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be looking at right now, starting with 2010 and Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett, okay.
Yes, back when the developmental brand was still in its original game.
I was gonna say Daniel Bryan was the better wrestler, but I guess they're going on.
Bryan Danielson and Low Key aside, there wasn't much in the way of top
I guess they're going on like
Ring of Honor to be found
since
here.
Wade Barrett won.
Rather, what we had was people who were first getting started out for the most part, and were learning those early ropes inside the WWE.
I forgot
system,
Regal was Ryback's pro
back
in 2010.
It wasn't like these were a bunch of performers who were too green to do anything yet. No, there were some diamonds to be found amongst this early batch of the brand, and the number one amongst them has to be Wade Barrett. Why Wade Barrett? Well, because of that original NXT class, he was the one both WWE and its fans clearly saw the most in. Hell, that was exactly why after season 1 of the show came to an end, it would be the Englishman who was standing tall as the winner. And once the Nexus decided to invade the main roster not long after this, it would be Barrett who was positioned as the leader of the faction. In fact, if things had gone just a little differently for the Nexus, there's a good chance the former bare-knuckle boxer would have had a full-blown main event run at some point, but sadly, that was not meant to be. Still, though, none of this
Young was wrong
from the
for that
fact
hair.
Of that original NXT class, Wade Barrett
Michael
was
Tarver
the one seen to have the most potential at the time.
Michael Tarver was slept on
however,
too.
He'd no longer be eligible for the spot of best developmental wrestler. No, instead, that mantle would be passed on to our
Is
next
that
subject, Derek
EC3?
Bateman. Now we should.
EC3? I'm in the top 1%. Bro, I forgot. Like, so after season 1, I low-key stopped. I low-key stopped after season 1. So, because season 1, like I said, that was my very first NXT show, was the very first episode of NXT. I told y'all that before already. So after season 1, I don't remember nothing that happened after season 1. I remember low-key winning. I don't know if it was season 2 or season 3, but I remember low-key winning, which he was Caval at one point. But yeah, EC3, I don't remember EC3.
Clarify here that Derek Bateman didn't rise to the top of the pile.
EC3 looked like a Puerto Rican dude with that hairstyle.
No, by the time 2011,
that's why I had to look. I'm like, is
already
that
in
EC3?
season 4 of the show, with seasons 2 and 3.
Look at AJ Lee, man. Naomi,
Caitlyn,
Caitlyn, Bray Wyatt.
So by this stage in the game, the format was well established with fans. And that meant it was a lot harder to stand out, something which the future EC3
look at Brodus Clay. Look at, yo, was that my guy Byron?
Well, when it came to Bateman, he had enough charisma to be able
Byron
to grab people's
Saxton?
attention early on during his NXT run. And this would be enough to see him go far in the tournament. Sure, it wouldn't be enough to see him win. Rather, he'd end up finishing 3rd place behind Brodus Clay and Johnny Curtis, aka Fandango.
Oh, yeah, Fandango won this. Now I remember. I remember this now. Yep. Because as soon as I say Johnny Curtis, I forgot Fandango won this season. Dang, wait, who do we got? So yeah, Chris Masters back there. R-Truth. Is this Lance Archer on the side? I can't see. Well, I can see, but I don't know who that is. Is that Lance Archer on all the way on the left? Do anybody know? Oh yeah, y'all can't see. Hold on. Move my camera. Is this dude Lance Archer? No. This This dude on the left, on the far left. No. That homie from the tag. Who that, Mike? The tag team, I forgot their names. Oh. Yeah. I don't know who that is. I thought that was Lance Archer for a sec. All right. Bob. Oh, snap. Bob. All right, here we go.
Go. That said, one look at the wrestling landscape over the last few years will tell you exactly which one of these three went on to have the most success, as in the time since, the Ohio native has gone on to have successful runs in places such as TNA and Billy Corgan's National Wrestling Alliance. And it all started here on NXT, the place where he first broke out from the pack and made a name for himself as the muscle-bound rookie to Daniel Bryan, who for a while there seemed like a dead cert for superstar.
Why does he have a cheese head on? Why does EC3 have on a cheese head? Look at Byron Saxton, bro. Why does he have a cheese head? They must have been in Green Bay this episode or something.
Main roster. So much of a dead cert did he seem to be, in fact, during Season 5 of NXT, the last one in its original game show format, and the one which saw past losers return for a second chance. Bateman seemed like he was on the verge of winning, right up until the show was canceled before it could reach its conclusion, in fact.
Dang.
That's right, he was very nearly able to guarantee that main roster contract here.
They canceled the show. I didn't know they canceled the show.
Time. And that meant by the time 2012 came around, the WWE fan base would have moved on to another standout star.
Pulls off three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Wins the game at the buzzer!
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Of the NXT brand, Seth Rollins. Of course, it should have been obvious that Seth Rollins would be the standout here, as 2012 was pretty much the perfect year for him to arrive.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Was that Tonga Loa?
Standout star of the NXT brand, Seth Rollins. Of course, it should have been obvious that Seth Rollins would be the standout here, as 2012 was.
That is Tonga Loa. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, that dude look familiar. Tonga Loa. Bro, what was he doing in NXT in 2012, bro? You said that mystery person who stumped CM Punk, I think it's Joe Hendry. Because he just signed to WWE in the body. Nah, I don't think that's Joe. I don't think that's Joe Hendry. He was Puncho. Who the heck is Puncho? Tonga was in that tag team with Sin Cara. Oh, he was in, yeah, okay. Sin Cara and Unico. Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. I forgot. I forgot. Y'all right. I forgot. I was wondering why he was wearing Chucks too. Oh, buddy, you was talking about from the Ascension. Oh, that was Connor. That was Connor in the NXT thing. Yeah, that's Connor. Okay, yeah, now I see. Yeah, this is Connor right here. Yeah, Connor from the Ascension. Okay, thanks a lot, Mike. Thanks a lot. That made me feel a whole lot better because I knew I remember dude. I'm like, I know that dude from somewhere. That's Connor from the Ascension. Okay, cool. Let me fast forward it. All right.
The perfect year for him to arrive on NXT.
Yeah,
and we say that
I like that
this
bite
was the year
that
that the brand morphed from its original game show format into being more of a traditional developmental show. So because Seth was one of the best performers in the US indie scene at this point, what with his work in Ring of Honor speaking for itself and all, he had no problem slotting into the role of early ace of the promotion. So much would he stand out here, in fact, when it came time for the Black and Gold brand to crown its first ever world champion, it would be the Architect who was selected for this spot. And once he was the champ, he'd go on a reign of dominance, all while helping NXT to turn into one of the most must-see things out there in the industry. Obviously then, for this reason alone...
Hold on. Bro, the fact that this was like 2012 and 2013, and then like 12 12 to 13 years later, this ended up being like one of the craziest rivalries is insane. It's insane, bro. This is insane. Yeah. He said, I thought I saw Ryan Nemeth. Is that Ryan Nemeth? Is that Ryan Nemeth? Or is that somebody else? Jay said, yo. Is that him? Nah. Yeah, I'm like, is that him? No, all right. Let's keep going.
And once he was the champ, he'd go on a reign of dominance, all while helping NXT to turn into one
he
of
said
the
that
most
is him.
things
Oh,
out
that
there
was
in the
Seth.
industry.
I know that.
Obviously, then, for
he
this
said was that
alone,
Ryan
there
Nemeth
really
that
can
was
be no other choice for best act on the developmental show for 2012.
What if
It's just an
MJF,
easy
who
person to
cursed
go
on
with,
CM
given all
Punk
he
and maybe
accomplished here.
Invasion? They're not
Was the
going
choice
to do that, bro. I don't know what type of fantasy land y'all live in where y'all think that AEW and WWE is going to like work together, bro. They're not going to do it. They're competition. They're not going to do it. The only way that they will work together if one company buys the other company. So yeah. But that is not MJF. No. No. They would never do that. Exactly. Yeah, no.
As easy when it came to 2013, however? Well, yes and no, because while there would be even more great talent who make their way through the doors of NXT during this 12-month period, in the end, there really could be only one choice again for who the best performer there was, and that's none other than Big E Langston.
Big E Langston. Man, so when Big E first came on to the main roster scene and he was doing like the whole bodyguard stuff for the best bodyguard for AJ Lee. Yeah, when he was doing the bodyguard stuff for AJ Lee and Dolph, bro, and then he like slowly broke away from that. I'm like, oh yeah, he up next. He about to be world champion in no time. Nope, didn't happen. They had him as IC champ. I'm like, okay, IC champ, that's cool. And then it just didn't go from there. I'm glad that the New Day ended up being a thing because I feel like if Big E wasn't in the New Day, he would have got released for sure because they wasn't doing nothing with Big E. They got rid of his IC title and like after that nothing. So you said Big E really worked his way up, man. I'm saying we saw his personality. I need 5. I don't need 3. I need 5. That 5 count. You say it saved them all. Yeah, the New Day saved them all for real. But yeah, Big E didn't need 3 at the time. He needed 5. 5 count. You know what I'm saying? Y'all probably too young for that. Y'all didn't watch Big E in NXT. But he needed 5. He didn't need 3 count. He needed 5. Because that's how dominant Big E Langston was. You know what I'm saying? So
come on now, this is another one which should have been obvious. After all, by the time the black and gold brand was really starting to root itself inside the WWE system as something which was going to be around for the long haul, Big E was busting out of the pack in a major way. And the way he was doing this was by being an absolute physical specimen who, early on, got over with his count the fall until 5 gimmick, something first used by King Kong Bundy back in the day. Sure, he might have been the world's nicest guy behind the scenes, but on screen, he was a fearsome figure, someone who everyone watching knew could destroy them at a moment's notice should he choose to do so. As you would expect,
he is not Jala Trophy. Him, I mean, he's WWE's version of Jala Trophy, but yeah.
Title. And not just challenging him, but beating him. That's right. Long before anyone ever truly got the better of the Shield on the main roster,
first black NXT champion,
developmental show. And this led to him
he said that's
ever world champion there.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
So when you talk about the best people to grace black and gold in 2013, there really is no other option. Really, had he not been called up to Raw soon thereafter, he probably would have been the best of 2014 as well. But Big E was called up, and so instead, when we talk about
Adrian Neville
2014, we have to instead look toward our next subject, a man who would carry the whole thing over to a golden era, a man who went by the name of Adrian Neville.
Adrian Neville. Boy. I'm gonna give 2 horns, one for Big E, one for Adrian Neville, man. Yeah, Adrian Neville was that dude, bro. That, like, I remember seeing Adrian Neville for the first time, and bro, I like that red arrow was so smooth. I was such a fan when he had the purple. Yeah, so like I think so it wasn't a lot of high flyers that had like super core like body strength like that. The only ones I could really like think of besides Eddie Guerrero is like Apollo Crews, and Neville is one as well. But like when I first saw Neville and I saw that he was like solid up top, I didn't think that he was about to hit like some crazy high flying moves like that, bro. And then once I saw him hit the red arrow, I'm like, oh, this dude is like that. I'm like this dude is like that. I'm like, okay. But yeah, seeing Neville, man, that Neville was smooth, bro. Neville was smooth.
Yes, as 2014 arrived, the developmental brand was starting to transform again, not in format this time, but instead...
Man, stop showing Tonga Loa in the background.
And the reason for that was because with the show now airing on the WWE Network, and with their quarterly takeover shows beginning, NXT suddenly became the coolest thing in all of North American wrestling, as the quality of work on display there was way ahead of everything else around it. And while this golden era of the show was taking effect, there was one man standing on top of the mountain, Adrian Neville. Just as well he was there then, because with his absolutely incredible athletic ability, the man currently known as Pac was the perfect person to catch the attention of this new incoming audience.
Is that Brian Cage? Yo, I missed a lot of NXT in the back, back in the day. It was Brian Cage.
Newcastle native eventually dropped the belt to the future honorary Uce. It would be a euphoric moment for fans to witness. Sure, Adrian Neville might never have been the heart and soul of NXT in the same way that Zayn was, and he may not have been the fresh young face that his fellow countrywoman Paige was around the same time, but in 2014, there were few who could outperform him in the ring. Come 2015, though, the torch he was carrying...
Pulls up, three-pointer, bang! Bang! It's good! Wins the game at the buzzer!
What needs to be said, bro?
Would well and truly have been passed over to our next subject.
What needs to be
Finn
said?
Balor. Okay, if 2014 was the year NXT started becoming something truly special, then 2015 was the year it finally arrived, as the likes of Kevin Owens, The Revival, and the Four Horsewomen all fully hit the scene.
I for sure thought they were gonna say like,
success of the Black and Gold brand,
because he just mentioned like all the people that was in there around that time. I for sure thought that it was gonna be like Kevin Owens or Charlotte or Sasha or somebody like that. I didn't think that it was gonna be Finn, but Finn is the right answer though. Finn is the right answer. I didn't think though, but
their own way here, none were quite as crucial as Finn Balor. And the reason for that was because, hot off a run in New Japan Pro Wrestling as one of the top junior heavyweights in the world, the man formerly known as Prince Devitt would quickly take over the main event scene down in Florida with his great in-ring work. But it wasn't just his great in-ring work.
Him and Apollo cooked, I'm telling you, bro.
No, there was also his excellent character work personified by his demon alter ego, which was bust out for special matches. That's right, whenever it came time for a takeover show, the Irishman was going to win the bout before things even got in the ring, purely based on his ability to psych his opponents out with his entrance. And once that was done, it was easy pickings for him, as come the end of the year, he'd be standing tall as the NXT World Champion, with this being a belt he'd go on to hold for 292 days thereafter. Really, if there was anyone you could call the ace of Black and Gold era NXT, then Finn Balor would be it, as he was the face many today would still most commonly associate with such a great period of wrestling. That said, even if his world title run continued well into 2016, he would not be the best wrestler of that year on that particular brand. Rather, this accolade would go to Shinsuke Nakamura instead.
Man, I knew it was gonna be Shinsuke. I knew it was gonna be Shinsuke. It was either gonna be Shinsuke or Samoa Joe. But yeah, Shinsuke, man. Can't get no better than Shinsuke back in 2016. I think 2016 they brought in Samoa Joe. I think they had Andrade around that time too. They had Gargano. They had I think they had Ciampa. Who else did they have back then? Sami was still there. I think Finn was still Finn just went up to the main roster around that time. But yeah, they had a lot of talent. Yeah, Aleister Black was just popping off there too. So yeah, they man, Shinsuke was that one though. I'm still mad that they didn't give Shinsuke a world title, bro. I'm still mad about that because Shinsuke is that guy, bro. They haven't done right by Shinsuke in a very long time. So, man. But yeah, enough of my sympathy. Let's go.
Okay, if you weren't around at the time, then it needs to be made clear just how big of a deal this was in 2016. As while Prince Devitt had certainly been a popular guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling before arriving in NXT, that was nothing compared to Shinsuke Nakamura. No, in the King of Strong style, you had one of the biggest stars in Pro Wrestling history, someone good enough to be an IWGP Heavyweight Champion multiple times over, as well as a Tokyo Dome main eventer. So when it came out that he was going to WWE then, fans were immediately excited, as this was a true game changer of an act jumping ship. And boy, were these fans not disappointed, as upon arrival on the black and gold brand, Shinsuke hit it out of the park right away by having a 5-star classic with Sami Zayn at TakeOver Dallas, a match which to this day might still stand as NXT's best. Then, once he was done doing that, the Kyoto native would round out the year by winning the NXT World title from Samoa Joe on 2 separate occasions, with this making him the first babyface to ever hold the gold multiple times. Really, what Shinsuke Nakamura signaled more than anything else here, though, was signal that NXT was now the place to be if you were serious about becoming a great wrestler in North America. And that only further helped create a sense of cool around the brand, which the main roster just didn't have back then. So obviously, it only made sense that as 2017 came around, the best of the best would keep jumping.
Come on, man.
Including our choice for the best of that year.
Come on, man. What? Bro, we cooking.
Pulls up 3-pointer.
We cooking.
Bang! It's good. Wins the
But yeah,
game at the buzzer.
this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. Asuka was undefeated. Undefeated. Her whole NXT run, she was undefeated, bro. And then they put her on the main roster and messed her up. But yeah, Asuka was that one too, bro.
Asuka. What made Asuka such a force of nature in 2017? Well, as the 4 horsewomen of Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Bayley were all moving on to the main roster, it was the Empress of Tomorrow who picked up their mantle and ran with it. And the way she did this was by completely dominating the field, beating each and every person who went up against her, usually in short order. Of course, if you are aware of her work prior to this over in Japan as Kana the Murder Clown, however, then her success would come as no surprise. Even then, though, you might not have expected her to be so successful, as after beating Bayley to win the NXT Women's title at TakeOver Dallas, the Osaka native would go on a 522-day long run on top, a record which still has never been beaten to this day.
Man.
Yes, throughout 2016, more so than any other woman or any other man, Asuka was the clear ace of NXT. Hell, by the time her run on developmental came to an end, her legend would be so strong that she'd have entered into the area of myth, largely on account of the fact that she was still undefeated. That said, while Asuka remained on top of the women's division throughout 2018, she wasn't the top act in the promotion anymore. No, by then, a man had come up to take her place, a man who just so happened to be a key part of NXT's greatest ever storyline.
Tommaso Ciampa. But hey, this is nice and all. You know what, Tommaso, get some. This is nice and all, but y'all already know who is next. Jay, y'all already know who is next in 2019. I'm gonna let the video play, but y'all already know who is next in 2019. Bro. Y'all know who next, and if y'all don't know who next, y'all finna learn.
Rise of Sami Zayn and the saga of the Four Horsewomen being
y'all finna learn.
Examples. Hell, some would even look to the 2.0 era as well, where things like the Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams rivalry had a lot of success. Still though, if you were to take a poll of fans, then the peak of the entire brand would likely be considered to be the feud between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Obviously then, if we were picking one person as the star act of NXT during 2018, it would have to be one of these two, as the whole epic angle revolved around each man.
Bro said classes in
But there can only be one choice for the top dog here. So in choosing, we've had to take into consideration which one achieved the most here. And for our money, that would be Ciampa, because despite being the heel in the situation, he was the one who managed to win the NXT World title first when he beat Aleister Black for the honor on the July 18th episode of the Black and Gold brand's weekly TV show. Sure, he would have to eventually vacate this belt as a result of injury, but that wouldn't happen until 2019. When it came to the year prior to that, though, the Blackheart would be on top of the world down in the developmental brand, as with his dastardly antics, he was, for a while there at least, one of the most effective heels in all of wrestling.
Bro had no theme when he first won it, yeah. It was good, though.
Ciampa would likely have retained his spot as the best NXT wrestler. But that person did rise to the top, so high in fact that they'd become the face of the brand. Who are we talking about here? Why, Adam Cole, of course.
That is not what I was trying to play. I was trying to find the Adam Cole baby, but Adam Cole get like 3 of these, bro. Adam Cole get like 3 of these, bro. Come on. Come on, man. My guy get 3 of these, man. You know what? Hold on. We're gonna go back to the video. Hold up. Nah, man. Y'all think I'm playing around, bro. Y'all think I'm playing around, bro.
Yes.
Hurry up.
It's me again.
Shock the system.
Sir. All right, that's enough. Y'all can't handle it, bro. Y'all can't handle it. All right, back to the video. That's enough of that. Yeah, that's enough of that. Yeah, back to the video.
Seriously though, how lucky were NXT to have Adam Cole in 2019? As with AEW now competing with them every Wednesday night, there was now a rival to the developmental brand. And NXT's ace in the hole was able to keep things thriving as, after winning the NXT World title on June 1st of that year, the Panama City Playboy would carry the brand into this new stage of their existence. That's right. Every week on NXT TV, you were pretty much
bro.
guaranteed to get a great segment from Cole and his Undisputed Era stablemates.
Bro, I might do that tomorrow, bro. I might watch some old NXT
and
tomorrow,
whenever
bro.
Takeover time came around, he was always ready to deliver a
I gotta find out where they put the old NXT. That
MVP mantle would have shifted again as it went back.
Pulls up three-pointer. It's good.
Oh, bro, I forgot EO was cooking in 2020. Yeah, EO was cooking in 2020. I forgot. I completely forgot because I remember she started her heel run in 2019. Cause yeah, she started her heel run in 2019, and then it went over into the COVID years, and she was cooking. She was cooking a lot. Like it was fantastic. See, that's how I became a big fan of EO, cause I watched her stuff in NXT, and I was like, oh, she got it. I'm like, it's something about EO, bro. I was like, she got it, bro. But yeah.
Over to the women's division in order to be placed
only for Adam to end his career in AEW. Yeah, I know.
Of course, this is another case where it should have been obvious.
Who's that mystery guy in the hood?
Come on now. Back in 2020, there was arguably
we think it's Austin Theory,
the entire WWE roster than Io Shirai. And that was something she proved each and every time she stepped inside of the ring against any opponent who was put up against her. Thank God this was the case then, because with this being the year that the world went into lockdown, NXT were in desperate need of someone who could steer the ship through some very rocky waters. What would some of Io's highlights be during 2020? Well, for one, this would be the year that she finally reached the mountaintop to become the NXT Women's Champion, something she did by beating both Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley in the same match.
Oh yeah, that was that in your house. Yeah, I remember that.
Hold it throughout the remainder of the year. Hell, by the time she was done, her reign would have lasted for a full 304 days and would see her beat opponents such as Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Toni Storm.
You'll fine, boy.
So really, could there ever be any other choice?
That's where they messed Io up at the end of her NXT career by putting her in a freaking tag team with not Tony Stark, Zoe Stark. That's where they messed up her NXT career. They put her in a tag team with Zoe Stark, and then it was like, all right. Then they took her up to the main roster, and she got injured like that. I'm like, man. But yeah, that's where they messed up her career. Austin Theory wouldn't be doing Seth stuff. You are wrong. You are wrong. You gotta remember, Austin Theory was one of Seth's kind of proteges back in the day. So like 2020, 2019, 2020, Austin Theory was with Seth. So did you see his stand? Yeah, so. But enough of that. Io is on our screen right now.
This was the taster for what would come later, when Shirai eventually joined the main roster and became the best wrestler there, too.
Yeah.
Of course, her eventual call-up to that main roster meant she wouldn't still be on the developmental brand when 2021 came around.
2021
and
is...
because of that, the man on the show would instead move over to someone...
Oh, boo! Where's my? Do I got any boos? Do I got? Play this a few times. Yeah, what? What are we doing? Big boots. Ooh.
Else, someone by the name of Mandy Rose.
One fan out there.
2021 was a very important year for
Mandy
NXT
Rose.
because it was the year that the whole thing changed from Black and Gold to 2.0. Needless to say,
2.0
given how beloved the Black
bad.
and Gold era had been, this transformation was a rocky
Scripts,
one.
yeah.
It took fans a while to get used to the new
that's how you know it was
but then
bad.
This should have been expected,
Bad freaking
as now
scripts.
no longer was the show serving as the super indie it had been before. Rather, it was serving as a true developmental league. Interestingly, though, it wouldn't be a rookie who served as the best wrestler within this new paradigm. No, it would be someone brought down from the main roster in Mandy Rose. Why was Mandy added to NXT here? Well, partially.
It's my girl, man. It's my girl on the left, bro. It's my girl on the left, bro. I miss her. I miss her so much. I miss her so much. Yeah, so yeah.
It was to give the brand a bit of star power, and partially it was to allow her to develop further in the ring. And boy, did she do this, because it would be in October of that year that the Golden Goddess won the NXT Women's title, and from there proceeded to go on a 413-day-long run with it. Yes, in the end, Mandy Rose would have the second longest run as NXT Women's Champion in history, with only the mighty Asuka being able to best her in that regard.
She had the title for 413
days. Someone who was
days.
Never considered a workhorse of the division prior to that. Really, you could call 2021 the highlight of her entire career. A highlight which only happened because she went back down to developmental. But come 2022, it would be back over to the men's division.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Come on, man.
As the top NXT,
Come on, man.
That 12-month period would be none other than Braun Breaker. Seriously, what a year Braun Breaker had in 2022. After all, it was here that he arrived on the scene in a major way when on the first NXT show of the year, he beat Tommaso Ciampa to become the new NXT World Champion. And in doing this then, he was able to firmly establish himself as the face of the 2.0 era, the man who would be carrying the whole brand on his back for the next while. But then Braun was always going to be an easy choice for this role anyway, as with his family lineage and his freakish physique, he was everything WWE were looking for in a next top star. Hell, so much did WWE clearly believe in Braun here, they'd give him the world title down in the developmental brand twice over the course of 2022. On top of that, anyone who challenged him would be absolutely destroyed before the match was over. By the time the year was coming to an end, in fact, the son of Rick Steiner was beating everyone around him with such ease, it was clear he was already outgrowing NXT. Honestly, it's rare to see someone so young and know already
That was
they're
done when they
destined to
had
be the
Solo.
guy.
When
But this was certainly the case with Braun.
Wait, you said who? When they had Solos win the NXT title. Oh, Dolph. Oh yeah, that was stupid. I don't know why they had Dolph do that. I don't know why they had Dolph do that. That was dumb. Yeah. You said who was the winner of the War Games match? It was Logan Paul's team with Braun Breaker and all them.
Breaker at that point in time. Of course, with the revolving door nature of the developmental brand being what it is, though, it meant there was always going to be someone who would come along and take the Georgia native's place as the ace by the time 2023 came around.
Mello.
And that's exactly what would happen.
Ilya Dragunov. Okay.
On the scene. Who are we talking about this time? Who else but Ilya Dragunov?
He spelled his name wrong like crazy, but I thought it was going to be either Mello or I thought it was going to... well, Trick is going to be 2024, but... yeah, I thought it was gonna be Mello. They man. Yeah. I thought it was gonna be Mello for sure. They gave it to Ilya, so.
Sure, 2023 wasn't Ilya Dragunov's debut on WWE TV. No, for a few years prior to that, he'd been working over on the British branch of the developmental.
You said we had to get the young OG right, man. For 2025? No, it's gonna be over.
He'd even at one point been able to dethrone Gunther as the NXT United Kingdom champion, and from there go on to hold that belt for 346 days. That said, it would be in 2023 that he first fully arrived in NXT proper, when after a couple of injuries set him back for a while, he was able to win the world title there too. That's right, it was at the No Mercy PLE on September 30th that the Mad Russian was able to ascend to the top of the mountain when he got the better of then-champ Carmelo Hayes. And this would help NXT as a brand undergo a reversal in fortunes here, as now, with a wrestler of his caliber holding the title, a little bit of that old black and gold spark returned to the show. No, it wasn't the Triple H days anymore, but it was a significant step up from where the brand had been heading during lockdown. Could this reversal of fortunes for the developmental show be entirely put down to Ilya Dragunov? No, there were a lot of wrestlers who deserve credit for this, but the Moscow native played a bigger role than most. So that's why we have to consider him the best NXT act of 2023 then. And the groundwork Ilya was able to lay here would only continue to be built upon in 2024, as that was the year another top guy arose in the form of this year's best NXT wrestler, Trick Williams.
Yes, sir. Where's my stuff at? Where's my stuff at? Come on, man.
Yes, well, it seemed for a while like Trick Williams was going to be playing second fiddle to Carmelo Hayes, especially after Hayes won the NXT World title in April of 2023. 2024 would see the South Carolinian step out of his partner's shadow and fully become a star in his own
get married
right.
at some point.
And the way he did
He
this
literally
was by
just
being the man to
proposed
beat Ilya
on
Dragunov for the
Thanksgiving.
gold on
Yes.
April 23rd. What would Trick Willie do once the belt was around his waist? Well, he'd continue to prove he deserved to be the guy, as from here, he entered into a bitter feud with him. But that wasn't all Williams was doing during 2024.
That wasn't really a bitter feud. It was only like 2 matches.
From battling his former partner,
nah.
he'd be feuding with Ethan Page too. And it was during
The Ethan Page one was
a little bit
better than the
something which
Carmelo
made
Hayes
him a
one.
2-time world champion on the developmental brand. Clearly then, this was his year, one which will likely be looked back on as very important for him in years to come once he's presumably made it to the main roster and found success there. Of course, if things were slightly different, Trick Williams would probably be considered the top NXT act of 2025 too. He's still there as of the time of this video's recording after all, and he remains a key part of the show, with his TNA World title run being a heavily featured segment
His
every
first
week
reign
while it
was bad.
happening. But with things the way they are, we
yeah.
have to go with someone
Now that I
else in
think
his
about it.
place when it comes to the midpoint of the 2020s. And the reason we say this is because there's now an even bigger star on top, both
Mike, what did I say,
figuratively
man?
and literally. That's
Mike,
right.
what
It's
Mike,
time
what
for
did I
us to
say?
talk about
Mike, what did I say? What did I say?
Pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang!
The ruler, the destroyer. Yeah. Dang, I can't even, man. Hold on. We almost done with the video. I don't care. I don't care, bro. Yeah, I do not care.
If going home for the holidays isn't what it used to be, it's time to go.
There is no answer, to be honest. Yeah. As you can see, I am not dead. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. 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 Ah. Ooh. 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 My bad. I know I look crazy doing that because of my arms, how long my arms look and stuff. Yeah, look crazy. Yeah, I just saw myself and I was like, yeah, no. Dollar store version of Oba. All right, yeah. On that note, let's get back to the video real quick. We almost done anyway. Yeah.
Oba Femi.
Need
Now,
muscle,
Femi is one
bro.
of those guys who you just take one look at and know he's destined to be a star.
That's how I
Now, you
was.
have
I
to
saw
be
one look
actively
at
trying
Oba
to
and I was
dodge a
like,
6'6"
oh yeah.
former track
I'm
and
like,
field
that's
star like
yeah. I
him,
said he gonna
someone
be
who,
somebody, bro.
aside from being an absolute physical specimen, is also a very talented wrestler in the ring. Luckily then, being botched was not something he'd have to worry about, as, after spending a couple of years settling into the roster, it would be in 2025 that he reached the mountaintop to become NXT World Champion. How would the Lagos native do this? Well, after returning from injury and quickly climbing the card again, he'd eventually get his shot at Trick Williams on January 7th's New Year's Evil. And not letting this shot go to waste, the big man would make sure to walk out of the show with the gold around his waist. So it was then that from there, he'd go on to have a dominating run as the Ruler fully took over the main event scene down in the developmental brand, just like everyone knew he was one day destined to do. Sure, he might not still be in possession of the gold as of the time of this video's recording. Though ever since No Mercy on September 27th, it's been Ricky Saints who's been the champ, but that doesn't mean
It's like watching a legend be born in real time.
as there's still a couple of months left. And even if he doesn't do this, he'll still be the top NXT act of 2025, something which will forever give him a spot in the brand's history, along with everyone else we've looked at today.
W video, man. W video, bro. W video, yes, sir. I used to be skeptical with college athletes turning into wrestlers. Yeah, it's like a few of them. He said, but Isaac, aka Obafemi, is goated. Yeah, Obafemi is nice. Yeah, with those college athletes that WWE been doing with the NIL stuff, a lot of them that turned into like actual wrestlers are actually really, really good. Like I said, my favorite right now is Chantel Monroe from Evolve. She's nice. She got it. She got it. I wish that they wouldn't have put her on Evolve. I wish that they would have put her directly on NXT. Callie Armstrong is another one. Got it. Who else? Kendall Gray, got it. Like a whole bunch of NIL like superstars have it, and they need to be on regular NXT and not Evolve. But I don't make the decisions, but yeah, they got it. But W video, man. W video.